I think this is simultaneously the craziest and most logical thing that I've ever done. I am rebuilding my life from scratch, my career, my personal life, everything. The last few months, I was busy uprooting my life from the country that I called home since the day that I was born and immigrating to my new home, Canada. My immigration story is long, and if you want me to upload a video about that, let me know in the comments. But in this video, I wanted to share what life's been like in the short term after making the single most drastic decision I've ever made. Ever since I was a kid, I knew I was different. I always felt like a stranger in my own home. I never fit in as an individual in Kuwait, and as I grew older, it became harder and harder to try. Thankfully, I had an incredible group of people in my life who accepted me for exactly who I am. However, it felt like society at large was out to get me. Not once have I felt psychologically or physically safe to express myself or say what's on my mind. Having been born in Kuwait, my family being there since the 1950s, and having spent my entire life there, it was absurd to me that I was still an expat on a temporary residence visa that's tied to my working status. If I had a job, I got to stay. If I wasn't working, I had to pack up and leave. And where was I supposed to go? I don't know my home country of Lebanon. I mean, I've visited a few times. I think it's beautiful. I love the culture there. I love the people. But the reality is, it's not home. Kuwait was home. It's where my loved ones are, and it was where I wanted to stay. That was why I worked nonstop for 14 years to maintain my temporary residence visa. I never had the choice to quit a job, stay home and relax, or look after myself for an extended period of time. It was job after job after job. Add to that the fact that my spirit was being suffocated as a musician and creative person. I mean, singing in public without a license per event, which is near impossible to obtain without a powerful figure backing it, is illegal. I know so many musicians who were interrupted during their live sets and taken to the police station for interrogation. Don't get me wrong, I love Kuwait. I wouldn't have been in pain about my situation if I didn't. I wanted to belong, but it was crystal clear that I was never going to be given the right to stay, own a home, or start a business on my own doing what I love. I was never going to be a permanent resident, let alone a citizen. I had to make a choice. I had to vote for the person that I wanted to be and the life that I wanted to live. And that was why in 2018, I decided that it was time to leave everything I know and everyone I love behind. That was when I applied for immigration to Canada. I got my application approved and I received my visa to do my landing in early 2020. I bought my ticket and booked a hotel for May 2020, but then the pandemic happened and my confirmation of permanent residence and my visa expired. Not knowing whether I was going to go to Canada or not, plus the stress of going through the pandemic, dealing with multiple personal struggles and a stressful corporate job, took a major toll on my mental health, and my physical well-being followed. I lived in limbo for 2.5 years, not knowing what was going to happen. Thankfully, at the end of last year, I received an email from IRCC asking me if I was still interested in immigrating to Canada, and that was the fastest email reply that I had ever typed. At the beginning of this year, my documents were renewed, and so was my optimism. I booked my ticket and my accommodation, quit my job, and I started packing my entire life up. The last few months before leaving Kuwait were surreal. I had to give notice at work, give notice to my landlord, consolidate my bank accounts, unsubscribe from any services, sell, donate, and pack my belongings, and of course, spend as much time as I could with my loved ones. My apartment was an absolute mess for months. I think I barely slept the last few weeks before traveling because my mind would just stay up all night and go over everything I needed to do every single day. I'm telling you, that first week that I arrived in Canada, I slept like a baby because I had so much sleep to catch up on, and being jet lagged was perfect for that. Everything I own ended up in 3 tall boxes, 2 short boxes, 3 suitcases, 1 carry-on, and a backpack. It all happened so fast towards the end, and the hardest part was saying goodbye to everyone. It's weird, but because people knew that they won't be seeing me again for a very long time or possibly never again, everyone seemed to go out of their way to express what I meant to them. I was genuinely and pleasantly surprised by how some people in my life reacted to me leaving and the many thoughtful things that were said and done. And those I love most honestly went above and beyond to make sure that I knew I was loved. There were a lot of tears, hugs, and surprisingly, apologies. Apologies that I needed to hear for the longest time, and it meant everything to me to finally hear them. My heart was breaking and healing simultaneously. I will never forget those... this is hard. I really wanted this to be like a fun kind of video that was inspiring, but here we are. I will never forget those last few weeks in Kuwait, and yeah. Woo! I'll never forget those last few weeks in Kuwait and that last night at the airport. I feel so grateful for everyone, and I miss you all terribly, obviously. I've only really been in Canada for a short while. It's definitely been hectic trying to set up a whole new life. There's a lot to learn and a lot to get accustomed to. Like any country in the world, there are pros and cons to living here. However, the pros for me way outweigh the cons, and they definitely outweigh the pros of living in Kuwait. The country is absolutely stunning, and people are friendly and will go out of their way to help you. Even though I've only been here for a short while, I don't really feel like an outsider. Oh, and did I mention I'm a permanent resident? The one thing that I dreamed of my entire life in Kuwait, I got here on the day that I arrived. I feel tremendously grateful to call this country my home. So grateful. I think I'm still in my honeymoon phase with Canada, and for the most part, I am filled with joy and gratitude to be here. But then there are days when I wake up in a panic and think, what the fuck did I do? Just uprooting my entire life and plopping it into a new place. But I guess that's normal. I'm sure that's something that every immigrant goes through. I have to say that immigrating to a new country is an emotional experience like no other. It's very, very difficult. And it doesn't seem like it's going to be difficult while you're working towards making it happen. because you get caught up in all the logistical details of immigrating and you're high on the excitement of starting a brand new chapter and the possibilities that it will bring. I would say it wasn't until I arrived and stopped for a moment that it all hit me. I'm telling you, I don't think of myself as a sensitive or overly emotional person, but I have never in my life cried as much as I have during the short time that I have spent here. I think I'm still grieving my old life. I don't know, but I still have random tearful breakdowns when I see a photo of a loved one or come across an item that's super sentimental to me. It's difficult, but I hope that I can look back in a few years and think that I made the right decision coming here. Okay, let's end this video on a positive note. Where do I start? My goodness. I mean, there's a lot to learn and explore. I'm honestly just taking my time to digest the last 3 years and decompress from the stress that I faced in pretty much every aspect of my life and even the whole process of immigrating to a new country. I'm just now starting to relax after getting most of my life set up, finding an apartment, making the apartment feel like home, etc. I'm still navigating my new reality. This is the first time in my life that I don't have a job lined up. It's the first time that I have freedom to spend my time in any way that I please, which at first was really nice, but now I'm starting to feel the pressure to use my time to do something productive. I think for the time being, my plan is to just relax, breathe, take care of my body and my mind. I put my body through so much the last few years. It's taken good care of me, and I feel like I need to return the favor now. I would like to take some time to work on some more YouTube videos, so you can definitely expect more regular uploads. I want to work on my music, which a lot of people have been asking me why I haven't released any singles since Out of Time. Well, now you know, Michael. And yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see how the next few months unfold, and I will be right here sharing it with all of you. I hope that sharing the story of me making such a drastic change in my life inspires someone out there to make a change if they're unhappy or unfulfilled. I can say that I've been where you are, and if I can do it, then you most likely can too. It's taken me so many years of hard work and dedication to be prepared financially and mentally to be able to make this move. And each of our life circumstances are different. I know that. I would have loved to move here in my 20s, but unfortunately that was not a possibility. However, I believe in being in the right place at the right time, and I'd like to add to that with the right mindset, because I've grown so much since my 20s, and I don't know if I would have been able to handle some of the challenges that I faced coming here back then. So all in all, I'm grateful and optimistic. I think we have no choice but to be those two things if we want to lead a life worth living. Thank you for being here and for taking the time to listen to me ramble on for 25 minutes now. The video is probably going to be shorter, but yeah, I'm sending you lots of love. And to all the subscribers, thank you so much for being so patient. I haven't uploaded any videos since February, so I'm excited to be back, and now you know where I've been and why I've been MIA. All right, I will love you and leave you. See you next week.